no matter what path you choose to walk, and whether you believe or not, you can be certain that a fairy is watching.
Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Welcome to FaerieQuest and a little different video of real fairies in real photos. In this one, I'm going to share with you why I seem to only be able to produce one video a week for you. You're going to go through a few photos with me, find fairies, and then go through some of the rest of the process. It's a rather long video, but I hope you'll stick with it because that'll give you a better understanding of why it takes me forever, it seems like. Okay, so let's get started with this. So the first thing that I do when I'm done taking pictures out in the field at a specific location is I come back home and I put them from my digital camera into my computer. I create a folder, I name it, I date it, and I put it in my new pictures file. And as you can see, there are a lot of locations here that I have not gone through the pictures yet. There are many hundreds, probably over 1,000 or more pictures that I still need to go through from different locations. Today I'm working with the Witch Oven Trail, the pictures that I took on September 1st, 2023. And as you can see, I've taken a good number of pictures. So we've got 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 26 pictures, which may not seem like a lot, but when you have to go through each and every one of them and make them larger and then find all of them, all of the fairies within them, and then mark them, save them, create a specific video frame from each one of those that I wish to share. This is the process I would like to show you today. And I haven't gone through a photo with you in a long time. So we are at the Witch Oven Trail, and I don't know if you remember, I did a video on this witch's oven, what I called the witch's oven anyway. I'll put a link to that up there in the right hand corner of the screen and also in the description box below if you'd like to go and take a look at it. But we found this at Pine Lake State Park randomly off the river, and such an interesting looking, as I said, I call it a witch's oven. It's like from an old house that maybe sat there hundreds of years ago, and this is what remains. The other side you would see in the other video. So this is where I went, and I put my back to this chimney and I walked my way out to the parking lot, and as I did, I took photographs. So let's take one of those photographs, the very first one here, and let's blow it up to 200% the way that I do when I am looking for fairies. And we'll start down here in the left hand corner once I get this situated here. And we'll start here and we'll look through and see if we find any fairies along the way. This is a lot of leaves and a lot of foliage this time of year. So sometimes it's not easy to spot the little ones in here and know that they are not just pareidolia, but that they are actually little beings. So I have to be very discerning when there's a lot of foliage as to what I'm seeing. And sometimes something can look like something and I'll pass it by on purpose and then go back. If I see it again, then I know that it is probably something to look back on. If not, it'll look completely different than what it looked when I saw it the first time. Okay, so I'm not seeing much. I do see this, but this is questionable. It almost looks like a little being sitting there in an opening, but it just isn't very clear. So we're going to move our way up here. And I find a spot. There's a little point there on that leaf, so that's where I'm going. And take that down to that spot. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, going across this tier and seeing if we can see anything that really stands out. And I do see a number of fairies in this picture, but what I see and what you are able to see on a video are two different things. I can put something on my computer and say, yeah, look at this, there's a fairy here, but it just isn't large enough or clear enough for you to see or for me to share in video form. It just doesn't work. So I'm continuing forward here, and there are some things that I'm seeing that are kind of interesting, but I'm not sure that they are what they appear to be. So I'm going to do what I told you that I do, and I'm going to go past them and then go back and see if they're still the way that I saw them. Now keep in mind also that there aren't fairies in every photo that I take. Well, I take that back. There usually are fairies in every photo that I take. But again, some are just too small to even consider or too unclear to consider. So what I thought I saw just isn't really, it's not standing out enough for me to share with you. So let's find a spot up here and move up another tier in this photograph. Right there. And look carefully through the leaves and at the sticks. And if there's a tree trunk, we look at that too. Anything where a fairy could blend or hide or create themselves from. That's what we're looking for. Now we're getting into the grass, and a lot of times there are fairies in the grass, but they can also be quite hard to spot because they really do know how to blend well into the grass. And a lot of grass fairies too are kind of, what do I want to say, kind of invisible almost, or have made themselves almost transparent. And you have to really know what to look for, and they have to really show up transparently for it to be anything that can be shared. Okay, so from here I'm just going straight up because we're almost done with the picture, and I'll look at the top portion up here to see if anybody has made themselves known here. Now I know this is probably going a bit fast for you, but I really do, my eyes have gotten so accustomed to looking for unusual things that I can go fairly fast. Okay, so I am going to make this normal size at 100%, and I'm going to take a look at the picture. Well, I am going to make it smaller, a little bit smaller, so that I can see all of the picture at once, as close as I can get. I can't go too small because then I may miss something. So we've got it up here and down here. There is really nothing here that stands out to me, except for maybe right there. Let's pull that up and see if that's going to be anything, something maybe that I missed. Nope, sure isn't. All right, so I would take this picture, and I would go open up my new pictures, well, open this up and do new folder. This is the picture that I had up there, is 3303. Make a folder and then put that into that folder. And then I'm going to make another new folder, and I'm going to put images. And I'm going to take another folder and put no images. And because we didn't find anything in that one, I'm moving it over to the no images folder. And then I will pull up, make a folder for 3304. Move that picture into that folder, bring it up, and open it up. Make it larger to 200%, and start at the bottom, and do the same process over again. Now what I'm trying to do is find a fairy in one of these photos while I'm working with you or working with this video, so I can show you where it goes from there and why it takes me so long to present a video to you. It isn't something that I can just sit down and do, well, unless I spend 8 hours or more in a day, depending on how many photos that I have taken and how many fairies I find in a photo. Sometimes I actually do find, oh my, so many in a singular photo. That can be a video all by itself with one single photo. And I was doing some videos with that. I should go back to doing that, but I thought I would share with you the way that things are created on my end in this video. Alright, so I'm not really seeing anything in this first tier. So I find a spot up here, right there I think I'll use, and I move up to that spot. And I look again to see if I find any fairies. There's, again, a lot of foliage here. Okay, now that's interesting, right there. And I am up to 200%. I'm going to go up to 3 just so I can see it a little bit better. I can see a hat here and a face and profile, but it's not as strong as I would like it to be. So let's keep going. So many different types of leaves and types of grass to look at, and colors. I really haven't found a specific time period that I like to take pictures in, although obviously it is much easier when there's not so much foliage. I guess so early spring would probably be my favorite time to take pictures in wooded areas. Alright, so going back and finding something, I'll use that little flower, go up to that. Oh, and I probably should say that before we started taking pictures here, and I say we, my husband and I, we were trying to find a way to get down to the rocks on the river to look for hagstones. So we did a lot of tromping through off of the trail, which I rarely do. Normally I stay right on the trail, but I only went to the right off of the trail down to the river to see if we could find a way across without getting totally soaked. The river is quite low right now, but we just couldn't really do it. So we were making a lot of noise, and right after that is when I decided to take photographs once we were on the path again. It's when I decided to take photographs, and so if we don't have a whole lot in these pictures, I'm not surprised because we probably scared them. But I am seeing one right here, and it looks like a young girl. I can see the shape of her face. Let me get a pointer here. I can see the shape of her face here. She has one eye right there. Her other eye appears to be closed, perhaps. Here's some bangs. Here's her hair. And I see an arm, and we can see her hand here. Very interestingly shaped hand. All right, so now that I've found her, I'm going to put my picture back to normal size, 100%, and I'm going to crop her out. Put a box around her, like so. Crop her out, and then take her up in size by 100. So we're at 113 here. I'm going to 213. And then I'll go up here and I'll do save a copy. And here's the folder 3304. So I'm going to go 3304A. Save. Okay. And then I'm going to undo image size, undo crop. I'm back to the original photograph. I need to go up and find her and put the red box around her, like so. Go to edit, go to stroke, make sure this is red, and hit OK. Deselect, and then go back up to here. Now, normally I would keep going through this photograph to see if there's any more fairies. Oh, maybe I will. Let's just do it. Okay, so then, now that I've found her and I've marked her, okay, I have to go back down to the bottom, put this back up to 200%, go back down to the bottom, right here, go over to the left again, and use those same points to move the picture up, so that I'm sure not to miss anything from previous. So the next one was up here with this flower. All right, and that is where I found her. So she's on this tier right there. Okay, so we made it all the way over here. Now, since I only have a little bit of the photo left, I'm just going to push it on up and go through this really quickly and see if there's anything else. Now, I see one that's pretty cute. Hold on, I hope you spotted it too. I love it when they have kind of a glow to them. But right here, very interesting little critter here. So let us, I'm going to say, yeah, I think that's a fairy. I'm not sure what kind of a fairy, obviously, but we can see that it has an eye and an eye. Seems to have a little hat, either that or that's hair. Here's some more hair. It's kind of alongside the tree here, and if those are feet, it's the tiniest little fairy. So anyway, we are going to act as though it is. So I'm going to take the image down back to 100%, and I'm going to crop that little guy. Enlarge it by 100%, so 177, and save it. And keep in mind, not all of these, and this will be saved as a 3304B. Not all of these do you ever see. When I create a video, I also make sure that they're ones that you can see better, but I will save these. So now I'm going to undo the image size and undo the crop, and we have the full picture again. I'm going to go up and put a box around this little one. Go to edit, go to stroke, and make sure that's red, and do OK. So as far as I know, even though I've been through this photo rather rapidly, there's only these two in here. So now I'm going to save this marked photo. So I'm going to File, and I'm going to save a copy, and get rid of the word copy as I have each time. And this time I'm going to put the word marked. And then I can get out of this. I'm going to take that first picture down here. So now if I open, okay, here's 3304. This is one of the pictures I found. This is the second one, and here is the original, but with the marked boxes. Okay, so it's all right there. And then I can go here and I can slide this 3304 file into the images file, like that. So now, when I have gone through all of the photos, or a good number of photos, depending on how many fairies that I find, I will start creating a video for you guys. So the first thing that I do is choose a picture to create a thumbnail, because that is the easiest way to start with my movie editor and not cause myself problems. So I had this one open before, and it is a very different kind of photo, maybe not exactly what the best thumbnail, but I'm going to use it. So we go to File, we go to New, and I look for 1280 by 720, because that is what YouTube allows, and I always have a black background. So I'll take this and I will slide her on over here, and obviously it's monster size for the size YouTube will allow us to do. So Control T, and I'll shrink her down a bit more. I'd like to see the whole oven on the screen, or at least as much of it as I can get. That's about as small as I'm going to be able to go. So there we are. And then I would create the lettering, the real fairies and real photos, which a lot of times I kind of cheat. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So I will go to, oops, I need to go up to Pictures, or in Pictures here, and FaerieQuest YouTube channel is here, and let's see, let's say the Creek Bed Fairies, and we'll go the thumbnail for that one. Wait for that to pop up. Sometimes Photoshop in my computer can be very, very slow, which makes this whole process so painful sometimes, because I'm not a very patient waiting person. So here I will take the lettering and I will move it to here, so I don't have to redo the lettering every single time. Oh, that didn't work, did it? Go back. I need this one. Nope, it wants to make me take that one. Alright, so let's take that offline here and grab this one. There we go. And obviously I'm just placing them wherever I can place them right now, and then I'll go and put them in a spot that makes sense. All right, so now I can go back here and I can put that one back online, and I don't need this anymore and I don't want anything changed. All right, so here are my letters. I want to make sure that I have those in decent places. So in needs to move a little, and real photos. And the next question is, do I like the color? Does it show up? Well, not necessarily. So I need to determine a color that will work for these letters. So I'm going to use the color selector and try this right here, which is not a very exciting color, but I will write that down so that I can highlight these letters like this, and then choose the color and put the number in there, which was 977C43. And that gives me that color, which I think I would like to outline in black because it just doesn't show up real well. It is bubbled in white dots. So I'm going to layer and then layer style, stroke, and I want black here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that shows up better. And then I'll do the same thing for the word in. Change the color to 977C43. Okay. And then do the layer, stroke, do it in black. 6. There's that. And then real photos, same thing. 977C43. Okay. Put the black around it. It's really odd. Normally the black would stay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay. So here is the start of this thumbnail for you guys for this video. And I will put another saying here of some sort, but for now I'm just going to save this. And so I'm going to open, and what I need to do is find a spot here, make a folder, and this will be which oven process video is what I'm going to call this, and this is where I want to save my thumbnail. Alright, so here's save as on my computer. Go back to that one I just made right here, and then we will save this as thumbnail under Photoshop. So I have my original, so when I have to add to it I can. And then I'll go back to here, to File, go to Save a Copy, get rid of the word copy, go here and make it a JPEG, and save. So this way now, and I'll get rid of that, this way now I have one I can see and one that I can edit. So then I go back and I create a new one of these with the 1280 by 720 on black, and I go find that picture that I found the fairies in. So we're going to 3304 here, and a lot of times I will show you the picture that is marked with the 2 red boxes on there on the video. But for this tutorial, I'm going to show you how I do each picture for each frame of the video that I do for you. So here is the original picture, and I'm going to size that up to 100. And I have this first fairy right here. So I'm going to crop this big photo here to about there, and then I'll bring it in some over here as well, and of course down the bottom we don't need quite that much. And we don't need as much at the top. However, I think I normally would leave that because this one is up here. I can reuse this. So I'm going to put this over there on the untitled. I'm just going to drag it like that and find my little fairy here. And I usually like to put it lined with number 9 here, pretty close. So I actually have both of the fairies on here, so I can use this again. So then I will do a new layer and make a box around her so that you know where she is. And I'll do edit and stroke, put this back to red, put the box, and then deselect. And then I'm going to go back to the original photo, put a box around her about the size that I think I want, because now I'm going to enlarge her so that I can put some arrows to show you better where she is. So there's that, and we're going to put the image size up to, I'm going to try 367. Okay, now as you can see, she starts to look a little choppy, a little like a painting rather than a photograph because she is so small. Now I can do Control T here and make her even larger for you, which I am going to do. Many people are actually looking on their phones, so the larger it is, the better. It makes her not seem as clear, but we're doing the best we can here. So now I'm going to open and get my arrow that I use, which is right here. And I'm going to make sure that I've isolated it, selected it, so that I can move just the arrow and not the white box. Drag it to my picture here, and I'm going to point it at her hand. And then if I have more on this side, which I'll probably do it for her face here, I just right click and duplicate that arrow and then drag the arrow up this way. So that would be her face. And then I want to show her hair, so I'm going to change the direction by going to image and image rotation, and I'm going to go counterclockwise 90 degrees. And again, select and move. Go here, and we select, basically there's her hair. I kind of want to show where her bangs are. We see her face. I might move this down just a titch. We see her face, but I want to show her bangs. So I'm just going to right click, duplicate layer, and take this one and move it up to the line where her bangs are. I can take layer 5, right click, duplicate the layer, copy, and move this one down here, and then do Control T and turn it around. Point it upward. Okay, here's her arm. And then she has more hair here, which I'd like to point out also. This is the top of her head, sort of, kind of. She's got her head kind of tilted a little bit. So I'm just going to take this one, copy, duplicate, there we go, and pull it over here. Do Control T, and around I go. Alright, so now I've got as many arrows as I want to have. So then I'll go do a T, change this to white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the F's, that's white. Change this size to 24 point, and I'll start here and I'll do bangs. Oop. Might help if I had my fingers on the right keys. I've got my microphone there, so my keyboard is kind of cattywampus at the moment. So I do bangs. And I like to outline those in black, so I'll do layer and layer style and stroke. And we'll make sure that this is on black, which it is. It did outline it. So then I go to the next one. And we do face. Position it. And hit the layer, layer style, and stroke. There we have it. All right, and then we do hand. So H-A-N-D, hand. And layer, stroke. Okay, and then we go here to arm. And as you can see, the arm is underneath, so we need to move that above one of these. Above, there we go. Oop, slid back down. There we go. All right, so I want to make sure that we can move that into position here. And do layer and layer style and stroke. All right, and then we're going to go over here to hair again. Ooh, might help to spell it right. Set that there. Again, layer, layer style, stroke. Okay. And then the last one would be, I'm just going to say top of head here. Okay. And it would be so much easier if I did not have to take the time to label. And I did do that at one point, and I had a viewer ask me to please go back to doing the labels, so that sometimes it's kind of hard for you guys to see what I see. So I've gone back to doing that. All right, so this one I would put frame. Well, actually I would put, yeah, frame 1. Pick 1, meaning picture 1. Hit save. And then go to save a copy. And go to JPEG this time. So again, I will have in my special file, if I can get to it. Okay, what's happening here? All right, there we go. In my special file, which is which oven process video, I've got my thumbnail, and I've got frame 1, picture 1, which is the very first fairy from picture number 3304. So since we found 2 fairies in that, I would do this process again to get the second fairy. And then I would go back to the next photograph that I have to do and go through that photograph, find the fairies, and go through this whole process again. Once I'm finished with the number of pictures I would like to do and all these are completed, then I will go to my Movavi movie editor and I'll put in my thumbnail and I'll put in my introduction, and then I'll put in each one of these frames. So frame 1, picture 1, frame 2, picture 2, or picture 1. And since I only found 2 in there, I'd only have picture 1 twice. And then I'd go to the next picture and put that on Movavi and keep going until I have as many frames in there as I created. Then I have to voice over each one of them to tell you what it is that I'm seeing. And I have to create like a introductory type, here's what this video is about, welcome to FaeryQuest or welcome to FaeryQuest. Sorry, FaeryQuest Toracles is the other channel. And once that is created and I've done all my sound, I'll listen through it and see if it's okay. If it's okay, then I save it and I export it, which exports it into a folder on my computer. And then I go to my YouTube channel and I upload it there and decide what date it's going to release. So the process of creating one single video, because of what it takes to look through all the photographs and find fairies within them, the process is very long. And I would love to do a video every day for you guys, but I just can't. I can't do it. It's not feasibly possible because, well, obviously I have some kind of a life and I have a little chihuahua that basically dictates our life. Anyway, so I give you, if I can, 2 videos a week. Sometimes it's only 1 video a week. It just depends on how much time that I have. And obviously now that I've started the other channel with the readings, that one I can pretty much only get 1 video done per week on that one, but I'm working on the whole process for both. So I just thought I would share this process with you. I hope I didn't bore you to death. I do want to say that I have no formal training with Photoshop, none. What I have learned on my own by watching videos on YouTube to see how I do it. And since I have my process now and I've done it so often, I know how to do it. But I really don't know how to do much else on Photoshop. If I wanted to, let's say, change the exposure or something on the fairy on the screen, I would have to go and look up a video to tell me how to do that. So I'm not a Photoshop expert by any means. I can use it for what I need it for, and it is really the best program for me. But, you know, somebody else might have another idea. And I will say this, if you have any kind of suggestions on what might make things a little bit easier, a little bit faster, I would so love to hear about them in the comments if you would share. And perhaps it would be something that I can actually use. I am a very routine kind of person, so it might be difficult for me to change the way that I do things, but I'm always willing to try to see if it makes the process faster. So with all that said, I hope you enjoyed this video and now have some idea why I cannot produce as much as I would like to for you. But anyway, I hope you have a fantastic week and I will see you again soon. Take care.